The average salary of someone who knows how to code in the UK is about £47,500, which is about 30% greater than the median salary, which is 35k. So it goes to show you that if you know how to code, you will earn more money. Not to mention, it's a really fun thing to do. I have been coding professionally now for nearly 4 years as a data scientist and machine learning engineer. And in this video, I want to go over how I would learn to code if I was starting again. Let's get into it. I still remember the time I wrote my first bit of code. It was 9 AM in my first ever day of my physics undergrad degree. The professor was explaining to us how computation is such an important part of modern day physics because it allows you to run simulations from subatomic particle collisions to how galaxies move in the universe. It sounded amazing, and the way we started learning computational physics was going through a Fortran textbook. Yes, you heard that right, Fortran. Fortran is probably the oldest language out there, and that was the first language I programmed in. Fortran 90 to be exact. It's even older than I am. In that first lab session, I remember writing Hello World, as pretty much everyone does, and I thought, well, wow, big whoop, so what? Like, great, I can write Hello World, but how on earth am I going to get this to do anything large scale like modeling galaxies? Looking back, I realized that the learning curve for coding, particularly your first language, is very steep. But if you go at it every single day and you let that compound, eventually your knowledge will explode and you have so much more understanding behind how to code things. Like I said, at that time, I didn't realize this is the case, and I basically avoided any form of programming or coding modules at university. Then, during my third year, I had to do a research year at a lab as part of my master's degree. And in my research year, I had to learn something called LabVIEW. Now, for those of you who don't know what LabVIEW is, it's a graphical programming language to basically operate machines, circuit boards, things like that. To be honest, I haven't used it since, and I don't think I'll ever need to use it again, but you never know. The main thing that happened during this research year was that I basically realized physics research wasn't for me. My original plan was to become a professor or researcher after I graduate, doing a PhD, and then eventually, becoming a researcher, like I said. However, I didn't really enjoy physics research. And during this time, a documentary came out called AlphaGo, which is about how DeepMind created a reinforcement learning algorithm that can beat the world's best Go player. After watching that documentary, I was hell-bent on wanting to become a data scientist. And the main tools a data scientist or someone who works in machine learning uses is Python and SQL. So with that in mind, during my final year of university, I essentially studied Python and SQL in my spare time, and that's where I really kind of fell in love with programming. I saw its real potential in solving real world problems. But to be honest, the main reason why I think I stuck at learning Python and SQL so well is because I had this underlying motivation. As in, I really wanted to become a data scientist. And I knew that to become a data scientist, I had to learn Python and SQL. So that desire and that kind of end goal in mind of becoming a data scientist really pushed my learning and really encouraged me to, basically learn all the time, even if I didn't feel like it. All of that was back in 2020. And since then, I've only really used Python and SQL. However, in my new job, I have started to learn a bit of Rust and Go as is demanded of my job. And to be honest, I'm really looking forward to learning more and I'm really enjoying it. If you are interested in my full journey of how I became a data scientist and a machine learning engineer, then I recommend checking out these two videos, which I'll link on screen here and also in the description below. I always recommend starting with one language. According to Testgorilla, there are apparently over 8,000 programming languages out there. So how the hell do you choose one? Well, many of these 8,000 are probably not actual real life programming languages, as in they're probably pet projects or have really niche cases. There are probably maybe only 50, even 20 that are quite universal or used quite frequently, particularly when it comes to getting jobs. You could choose your first programming language based on popularity. Stack Overflow have a developer survey they do every year, and in 2024, the most popular programming languages were JavaScript, Python, SQL, and Java. However, the way I recommend you choose your first programming language is essentially deciding what field you want to work in. If you want to do front end, then you should learn JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. If you want to do back-end development, then you should learn Python, C#, PHP, and Go. If you want to build iOS or Mac apps, then Swift is your option. And if you want to build Android apps, you should learn Kotlin. If you want to build games or work with embedded systems, then C or C++ are something you need to learn. And finally, if you want to work in machine learning like me, then Python and SQL are by far the dominant languages there. As I wanted to work in the AI, machine learning and data science space, I learned Python and SQL, with the majority being Python. I probably spent 90% of my time learning Python and 10% learning SQL, mainly because SQL is a lot smaller and quite a bit easier to learn. Like I said earlier, to this day, I really only know Python and SQL to professional standard. But to be honest, the whole machine learning community is built on these two languages. This shows that you don't need to know loads of languages. You just need to learn the ones that are specific to the field you want to be in. So just pick a sector and learn the languages relevant to that field. If you want to work in machine learning like me, then you must learn Python. When it comes to learning Python, my favorite choice is DataCamp. I particularly recommend their Python developer track. It will teach you all the fundamental data structures and principles of Python and how to write efficient Python code. Furthermore, you will study data structure and algorithms, computer science concepts like object-oriented programming, testing using PyTest, and things like Git and GitHub. As a professional machine learning engineer, I use these things daily to write really good Python code. They are also topics that are used in interviews, particularly data structures and algorithms, so they will help you land that first job. This track also covers some fundamental libraries you'll need to use in your data science and machine learning career, like NumPy and Pandas, giving you hands-on experience. Finally, you'll create 2 projects to test your skills and also have some potential projects to showcase on your CV. I've been recommending DataCamp for a long time now, and this track will teach you a wide range of skills and applications in Python, from web scraping to managing your own Python packages. DataCamp is the sponsor of today's video, and if you want to check out this Python developer track, then it's linked below in the description. The biggest mistake I see beginner programmers make is getting stuck in tutorial hell. This is where you take course after course after course and never branch out on your own. I recommend taking a couple of courses maximum, literally any intro course will do, and then immediately start building projects. And when I say build your own projects, I literally mean build your own project. Don't go to another tutorial and copy their project. Literally build your own thing from the ground up. Because that pain in building something from first principles is where real learning is done. You won't know how to write functions until you write functions completely by yourself. You won't know how to write classes unless you write classes completely by yourself. I mean, you literally won't understand for loops and while loops unless you write them by yourself completely with no help. That is how learning is done, and you need to get used to doing that. So learn the bare minimum and immediately start building yourself. When I say to avoid trends, I'm not saying that you should avoid areas that have high demand in the market. What I'm saying is that you should choose one area and one specialism and stick to that for at least a few months. Programming languages all share similar concepts and similar ideas, so by learning one, you'll make learning another one a lot easier. But at least for the first few months, you should just focus on learning that one programming language and watch your knowledge build up over time. Don't develop shiny object syndrome and chase all the latest developments and technologies, because unfortunately it's a game that you will lose. Instead, focus on the fundamentals like data types, design patterns, object-oriented programming, data structures and algorithms, and ultimately just problem-solving skills. These topics transcend individual programming languages and ultimately are much better to learn than the latest JavaScript framework. It's much better for your career to learn one thing to great depth than try to learn everything. I can't stress enough how much leverage you have in your career if you document your learning. I don't know why people don't do this more. Sharing all my learnings and experiences online have literally been a game changer for my career. Even just committing your code to GitHub is enough. But I really recommend posting on LinkedIn or Twitter, and even better, try and writing blog posts of the stuff that you've learned. It really helps to solidify your understanding and also show off your skills to employers. When I interview candidates, if I see someone who has some sort of online presence, I immediately get the idea that they're passionate about what they do, they're enthusiastic, they're willing to learn outside of hours or just in general in their career, and these are all very positive things to have associated with yourself. I know many people are scared to put themselves out there online, but to be honest, you're just suffering from the spotlight effect. I promise you, no one's thinking half as much as you are about yourself, and no one really cares what you're doing online. So, I mean, I can't say much more apart from just start. I could spend hours talking about how AI is not an immediate risk to anyone who wants to work professionally as a programmer. I agree that you should embrace AI as part of your daily workflow, but it's not going to replace your job in the next 5 years. Unless there's some large breakthrough in artificial general intelligence in the next decade, which I highly doubt. It has been shown over and over again how all the latest AI models are not as great as they appear to be. AI really lacks that mathematical reasoning ability, and even the so-called AI killer Devin was actually kind of like a fraud, and a lot of the results were exaggerated. And this is quite common across the industry. All these companies who release these models, these kind of agents, overstate exactly how performant they are because they just want to get funding. And all of this kind of brings scaremongering, and people think, oh no, the world's ending, but it's far from it. Like, ChatGPT was released nearly 2.5 years ago, and not much has really changed. Sure, there's some more productivity hacks that have been made, but people haven't lost their jobs to AI yet, particularly in the tech space. When I was building my personal website, ChatGPT even struggled to do basic CSS and HTML to like a medium difficulty. And to be honest, that should be the easiest thing for it to do. So I'm really not concerned whatsoever, at least for the next 5 years or so. Overall, don't worry about AI if you want to work in coding. There are much bigger fish to fry in your path to becoming a programmer. If you enjoyed this video and you want more advice like this, then make sure you check out my weekly newsletter, Dishing the Data. I send it every Monday morning, and it's all about my thoughts and experiences as a practicing machine learning engineer. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to check out.